Islam Makhachev scared of Ilia Topuria. So, Islam Makhachev done a recent interview where he was asked about the potential super fight between himself and Ilia Topuria, and this is what he had to say. So, Islam Makhachev says, "I'm not going to give him a chance right away. He didn't do all the work he had to do in his weight class. There are contenders who he must defeat. Let him earn a chance and we will fight." So, does Islam Makhachev not understand what this fight means to me? I don't think he understands how planet Earth needs to see this fight. Yo, see, out of any fight that can be made, like, I don't even care if I don't see Tom Aspinall versus John Jones or Jones and Ngannou that we're never going to get, or any other, like, hypothetical dream matchup that you can think of. Like, I don't know, Hamzat, Pereira Jones, I don't know. You let me know what hypothetical matchups you would like to see in the comments, though. This is my one. Like, Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria has to happen. I have to see this matchup. These are the clear number 1 and 2 best mixed martial artists in the sport today. I think this is an awesome fight. It is literally 50-50 in my opinion. I can see a path to victory for both guys in this matchup, and we will kind of touch on that near the end. But Islam does make good points in this. Also, Islam Makhachev does say that in the interview, I just can't find it on X, he does say in the interview, though, that if Ilia doesn't want to cut weight anymore and he wants to move up to 155, then he should fight a contender in the 155-pound division before getting his title shot. Another thing that does make sense. And talking about that, we'll start on with Ilia moving up. A name that was kind of thrown around was him versus Dustin Poirier. Now, Dustin Poirier is having one last fight. I think they're trying to get it in New Orleans, where the guy's from. I think that's where the UFC are trying to go for it. That's what Dustin Poirier said. This Ilia versus Dustin should not be his retirement fight. Unless you want to see Dustin Poirier absolutely fucking slumped inside that cage, knocked out cold for his retirement fight, then if you want to see that, make the fight. I don't want to see that personally. I'm a Dustin Poirier fan. Look, don't get me wrong. It will be a fun matchup, Dustin Poirier versus Ilia Topuria. Both very, very high-level boxers that can crack. Ilia Topuria is a level above Dustin Poirier in boxing. I'm just going to be honest. If you watch both guys fight, their striking, their boxing style, Topuria is levels above Dustin Poirier, in my opinion. I think Ilia Topuria would knock him out. I think he'd knock Poirier out inside 2 rounds. 3 rounds, maybe. But, yeah. Although, in saying that, I think to beat Ilia Topuria, you are going to have to put a dent in the guy and hurt him and try and knock him out. I don't think you're going to beat him by just going all 5 rounds with him. I think eventually he will catch you. And Poirier is a big, big puncher. But Poirier is there to be hit, especially in the boxing exchanges. And I just don't rate his defense. And I think Ilia Topuria would be able to catch him coming over the top of his lead right hand. And I think he would just be able to slip outside, throw the right hand up the middle, catch Dustin Poirier. I don't know why I'm moving like I'm in the fight, but that's what I think would happen. I think if he moved up, he would knock out Dustin Poirier. I like the idea of Topuria moving up and fighting a 155 contender, but not Dustin Poirier on his retirement fight. Let's have Dustin sail off into the sunset with a win. Now, back on to what he said about contenders. That is another thing that is true that Islam Makhachev said about Ilia Topuria. In the featherweight division, he has got possible matchups with Volkanovski, Diego Lopez, and Movsar Evloev. So let's sort that whole situation out first. A lot of people don't want to see the Volkanovski 2 rematch. I do understand that. It was a pretty convincing win for Ilia Topuria, although those who know that Volkanovski took the first round. Not that it matters when the guy was slumped on the cage. However, there are kind of like asterisks around that win. Obviously, Volkanovski made a quick turnaround after Islam Makhachev kicked him up the side of the head, and then he went right in there with a big devastating puncher like Ilia Topuria, and we seen what happened. Now, do I think Volkanovski would have beaten Ilia Topuria first time round? Probably not. Ilia Topuria has a very hard style for Volkanovski to win against, in my opinion. I do think, though, the rematch will play out different. I think Volkanovski will have success in there, a lot more than what he done first time round. I think the fight will go longer. I think the rematch is a fight that also does have to happen. Volk is the greatest featherweight of all time. I feel like a lot of people are counting him out now as well. I don't understand why. Do I think he's going to beat Ilia? No. But I think he would beat the likes of Diego Lopez and Movsar Evloev. But Volkanovski had multiple title defenses. He beat Max Holloway 3 times. He beat Aldo. He beat Chad Mendes, Korean Zombie, Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. And his only loss in the featherweight division is to Ilia Topuria. And it's not as if Volkanovski sat out and held up the featherweight division. He didn't. He stepped aside and allowed Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria to kind of push on and move the featherweight division. So I think the guy has earned his chance. And for people who say Diego Lopez deserves the title shot or Movsar Evloev, so why not just have those guys rematch? I don't get why that fight hasn't been made to see who the next number one contender is, because it's clear that if Ilia is staying in the featherweight division, Volkanovski is fighting him next. So why are we not just making Movsar Evloev, Diego Lopez too, to kind of just, for once and for all, figure out who is next in line in the featherweight division? That kind of sorts out the featherweight division, in my opinion. And a lot of people might say, but he should clear out his own division. Look, I understand that. Ilia Topuria has just knocked out Volkanovski and Max Holloway in the space of a year.
Bruh.
Let the guy move up. Like, they might be the two best back-to-back wins in UFC history. Knocking out Volkanovski and Max Holloway in the space of a year. Hello? Does anyone know how fucking impressive that is? Also, I might be a bit biased towards being like, oh, fuck it, I don't care if he fights contenders, because I want to see this matchup. So you can let me know your opinions in the comments below on should Ilia be allowed to move up or not. I just want to see this fight. I really do. Like I said, I think it's a 50-50 matchup. My early prediction is Ilia Topuria. I think he is going to stop Islam, which might sound a bit contradicting considering I'm saying it's 50-50. But I can't see a lot of clear paths to victory for both guys. There's a lot of things I'm interested with in this matchup. One, how good is Ilia Topuria's defensive wrestling and offensive wrestling? Two, how is he going to deal with someone who is going to be that much bigger than him in Islam Makhachev in the cage in terms of his strength? Also, how is he going to be able to close the distance on a very high level kickboxer, which is what Islam Makhachev is. This guy has really, really developed, especially his kicks. His kicks are awesome in my opinion. And on the other side, how's Islam Makhachev going to defend? How's Islam Makhachev going to look in there with a big power puncher like Ilia Topuria, who can grapple? We don't know to what level in terms of defensive, but the guy can offensively wrestle. Is it at the level of Islam Makhachev? We don't know. That's another exciting thing. Also, I think there is a hole in Islam's game, and that is his boxing defense. And that there is going to be a big issue when he's in there with Ilia Topuria. Look, this is how I see this fight playing out. Also, I can talk about this fight all day. I want to see, has the Dagestani style been found out? Because Paul Hughes done a good job of being able to arguably go to a draw with Usman Nurmagomedov. Merab just completely schooled a bit harsh of a word to say, but out-grappled and kind of just showed weakness in the Dagestani style. Who has the better grappling, the Georgians or the Dagestanis? We will find that out in this matchup. I just feel like Ilia Topuria will struggle in the first maybe round and a half, trying to get in close to Islam Makhachev, because Islam does have some really good kicks, and a big hole in Ilia Topuria's game. When I say a big hole, it's kind of like the only thing that I've really noticed that we have seen affect him. The guy cannot defend head kicks really that well. We've seen Jai Herbert catch him with a head kick, nearly put him away. Max Holloway also caught him with head kicks in their matchup. And Islam Makhachev, like I said, is a very talented kickboxer. Now, we have seen him knock people out with head kicks before, i.e. Volkanovski. So it'll be interesting to see how will Ilia Topuria deal with that, because he definitely will eat a head kick or two in this matchup with Islam. But how I see this fight happening is I think the scrambles will be really, really fun. I think Ilia will wear some damage on his face, as will Islam Makhachev. Both guys do wear damage in their fight. I think Islam... this is how I just envision it. You know, whenever Islam's kind of like clinching up, say he goes for like a tie clinch or something, or say he's clinching up, but Ilia Topuria does that thing where he goes body, and then comes up over the top for the head. That's what I think. And we've seen Dustin Poirier land those shots where, say he was clinched up with Islam Makhachev. Islam has his forearms like here on his neck, kind of like in a tie clinch, looking for the knees. And I can just see Ilia Topuria just blitzing body shots, like 1, 2, 3 hook, and then just coming over the top, cracking Islam Makhachev, putting him down. I don't think he's going to knock Islam out cold, but I think he's going to catch him with a right hand over the top as Islam goes down, and he's going to catch him with ground and pound shots. I think Ilia Topuria stops Islam in round 3. I really do. But then on the other side, I could see Islam Makhachev doing a good job at just keeping it at range, going like with body kicks, leg kicks, and then being able to just win the grappling exchanges between him and Ilia by like I don't want to say it's just by pure strength, because I feel like Islam, I would give the favour to Islam in terms of the grappling and the wrestling right now, because we're yet to really see how good Ilia Topuria's really is, where we know how good Islam's is. So I could see, if Islam beats Topuria, it's by decision. If Ilia Topuria beats Islam, it's by stoppage. I'm taking Ilia in the 3rd round. You can let me know your opinions in the comments below. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.